I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming home. Let the rain wash away all the pain of yesterday. I know my kingdom awaits, and they've forgiven my mistakes. I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming home. Let the rain wash away all the pain of yesterday. I know my kingdom awaits, and they've forgiven my mistakes. I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home.
Hello, hello. Welcome to Awakening Hearts. This is our pilot show. My name is Tess Vergara and I'm your host. And hi, you can find information about me at openheartmindcoaching.com. I just want to say thank you to Sprinkles and to Peg. I don't even know if Peg knows that we're on right now. I told her in a couple of hours, and it's happening now, and everything is always happening now in this now moment. So I guess it doesn't matter. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Awakening Hearts. And I thought I had a full hour to collect myself and to calm myself, but we're here, we're in the now, we're doing this, and you're probably listening to Awakening Hearts because you're ready to open your hearts to really fully experience being alive. And that's one of the things that I struggled with is feeling alive, feeling like I belong here. And how do I fully awaken my heart when, this was in the past. When everywhere I looked, it was not happening the way I envisioned it to happen. So something would happen that would have me collapse my energy, close my heart, shut down. Whether something somebody said or whether something I attempted at doing and failed at, there was always something that would have me take a pause and collapse, and that's not worth doing anymore. So how do we stay in that energy of just opening up, and really expanding our energy to be who we came here to be. And that's my intention. And just for all of us to just unify our energy, I just want to call in the energy of love, the energy of open hearts, open mind, the energy of higher frequency out there to just come in this presence, in this moment of now, to assist us in having that awakening, in that realization, that opening of the hearts and minds that is so very needed right now. So we can not just survive in this world, but truly create a world that is in alignment with who we really are. You know, a lot of who we are got repressed and suppressed and told no, told it's not possible. And we've learned to just get by with the false masks that we were told to put on. And whether we realize that we are putting we have a mask on, that who we are functioning in the world is not the extent of who we are, is not all that we could be. When we realize that, you know, it's like, oh, who is this person? So that's the intention of this radio show. And I'd like to call in one more time, you know, this time the angels and all the higher beings to just be with us and to support this space so we can be who we truly are, one baby step at a time. You know, we don't want to be it to be a huge change. And I think that's one of my many mistakes before, was to just power through the many changes that I wanted. I was so frustrated with how I was living life that I powered through it. And I'd like to encourage you not to do it that way, but to take baby steps to change. So anyway, I would like to share with you a story that just happened a couple of days ago. And this is the second experience in my lifetime that I experienced this. And well, let me just, instead of doing a lot of preamble here, 2 days ago, Tuesday night actually, someone set a fire on a truck that was parked outside one of our rental properties. And that truck happened to be my husband's. And I was just at an event on Tuesday where I spoke about the 5 C's, the letter C, 5 C's to make happen what it is that we really truly desire in life. What is it that our soul is calling us to be, to do, to have? You know, what is it that we truly desire in our heart? And so I came up with the 5 C's to accomplish that. After my talk, that incident happened, a fire. Someone set fire on a truck outside my rental property. And that is the second arson that I've experienced in this life. And I was like, oh my God, really, again? So Wednesday, I was in a daze. I was just walking like blank, like I tuned out everything else and I was just in daze. Like, and all I could hear was my own voice from the night before talking about the 5 C's. So in 2009, wow, 9 years ago, and it was Easter Sunday that I got a call from the fire department in Duluth, Minnesota. And I live in Minneapolis, and so that's a 3-hour drive away. And to have heard that someone set fire and burned to the ground what would have been my vacation home after I retire, this beautiful it's an up and down duplex overlooking the water. Very little water. Very little water, but I could see the water from the upstairs. So, and this would have been our place that we go to whenever we go skiing up in Duluth. So I got a call on Easter Sunday in 2009 telling me that someone, well, I won't name names, but someone set fire on my house. And that was a very devastating experience for me. It was like the whole world turned its back on me. Like, why should something like this happen to me? But later on, the investigation process was really excruciating because I, as the owner of the property, was the prime suspect of the fire. So it was interesting. So I'll get to the 5 C's in a little bit here. It'll be the meat of our conversation. But I just want to share the contrast of my emotional and mental state and spiritual state and the physical state too, I guess, back then in 2009 and now, because two same or similar incidents, right? But totally different response. So I was like, everyone I talked to, they were like, oh, of course, they were my male figures. One male would tell me, well, you have insurance, right? Yeah, well, so stop thinking about it. Then another male figure would say, yeah, you have insurance, right? Yeah, so don't stop thinking about it. It was like I was ready to strangle this men in my life who were just not considering my emotions or how I was feeling. And like, I can't even remember having the support system that really held me. And because it was like all I could hear was, oh, you're too much drama, you're making so much out of it, like snap out of it. And then so that year, 2009, the gift of the fire, of the arson, and fire is all about transformation, right? The gift of it is my own transformation. It was my awakening moment. That year I was just hammered. The fire happened, and then my boss passed away 30th of June. He died of cancer. And then later on that year, I hurt myself skiing downhill. I hurt my knee. It was an ACL tear, and I was down for a couple of days. And it was like, okay, fine. You know, okay, I give up. If this is a sign from the universe for me to shut up and listen, okay, I give up. Surrender. What is it am I supposed to learn here? So I realized I wasn't being loving to myself. I was giving everything of me away. So that's why I was so exhausted, so depleted. I was emotionally spent. I was spiritually spent. I was 2007, the depression set in for me. I turned 40. So this incident, the series of incidents, the series of cosmic 2x4s, I call it, happened in 2009. And with the depression setting in, I really lost touch of my value, of my sense of self. I didn't know who I was being anymore, and I didn't know what I was doing life for any longer. It was just a whole lot of, it's like, I just want to stay in bed, please. I don't want to wake up anymore. So that was my state of mind before. And when I do wake up, I wake up and go for it, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. I would come home intentionally spent and exhausted so that when my head touches the pillow, I don't think about anything else. I don't think about death. I don't think about not being worthy. I don't think about not doing the things I'm supposed to do here on earth. Things like that, things that would normally bring me down and think about, I wasn't really suicidal, but I could tell that my thoughts was on its way there. So I stopped as much as I could to even look at how I was really feeling. I didn't even dare look at that. I didn't even dare examine my thoughts. And if I tried to tell people about how I was feeling and how disconnected I felt, people would say, well, you're a strong person. You can figure it out. You're smart. You've got everything going for you. What else do you want? You've got success. You've got a good job. You've got all these things going on for you. So on the outside appearance, my life was perfect, or someone else would want to have my life. I have great kids, really loving and academically thriving. They've got everything going for we all got a bright future ahead of us. But that's from the outside looking in. No one could really tell me what was going on inside of me. So that's pretty much a background story of that. And now this fire that just happened on Tuesday, it is Friday, so three days ago, it's a totally different response. And it was such a blessing that I heard myself talk about the 5 C's. And I'm going to walk you through that now. Since Sprinkles asked me, what are the 5 C's? Yes, the 5 C's are, first is choice. Like today, Sprinkles told me, what do you mean see you in less than 1.5 hours? We're starting soon. Like, what? Okay, so at that moment, I had a choice. I had a choice whether to back out, collapse my power, to bring up all the excuses that I can't do this show right now. But I chose to go ahead with it and trust that whatever comes out of my mouth is divinely intended. So choice is number one. At any given moment, we have a choice. We have a choice to do the same of what we've been doing, or we can choose to do something different, to explore, to expand, to have a little bit of life. So yay, yes, I chose correctly. I believe so too. And the minute we choose, we have to be 100% committed. So the second word is commitment. And what I said on the talk on Tuesday night is, and what I say to myself too every time is when we make a commitment, we do it with 100% commitment, right? We back ourselves up to that 100% commitment. We don't question it any longer. We don't, oh, you should have done this, you should have not. No, 100% commitment. Whether that commitment, that choice is not the right fit for you, you will know, you will get a feedback back. So because universe is all about feedback, right? It's a feedback loop. So we're constantly getting feedback of what our actions are, what our behaviors are, what our emotions like. So 100% commitment. And are we always good on our commitment with ourselves? You know, sometimes yes, sometimes no. But just imagine, you know, you did good on your commitment. So imagine there's two arrows, one pointing to yes and one pointing to no. So let's go to the arrow that's pointing to yes. Yes, you were committed to yourself. Okay. So the next C, which is I guess this would make it a six C's then. So because celebration comes to mind right now. Whenever we are good with our commitment with ourselves, let's celebrate that and let's really anchor that in our body so that, you know, the joy and the happiness and the gratitude, all that automatically happens when we're celebrating the fact that, yes, we did good on our commitment. I'll give you an example. So today, yeah, so I'm choosing to be 100% committed to this. Whether or not this was a good choice, it will give me a feedback, right? So it depends on the feedback that people will tell me, well, you know, you didn't really do this, da, 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 da. So, but at the same time, the fact that I am here, I am so totally celebrating this because this is me owning my moment. This is me owning my power. This is me owning whatever it is that I'm supposed to say in this moment, and I'm saying it. I am celebrating that, right? And I'm really feeling that in my body. And I'd like you to also bring to mind all the many times that you made a commitment to yourself, to your goals, to your to-do list, and you actually did them. I just want you to remember how good it feels to actually complete something. And how good does it feel to actually feel that power that you can influence something, that you can actually create something out of nothing. Like, just imagine a blank piece of paper and you pick up a pen and you're committed to writing a few things for 15 minutes. You know, you can see the product of your own creation. You can see how you're generating something from your own creative power, from your own action, from your own. So it's always something about influencing, creating, generating, right? So celebrate that. Now, we'll go to the other side of the arrow. And what if something happens that, you know, you didn't make good on your commitment? Like, I had clients on Wednesday that I totally zoned out on, that I couldn't even text them or message them or email them that, hey, you know, I just totally froze. You know, something about someone setting fire on your property. It's just like, I'm sorry, but this is the extent of what I can do right now. I will deal with, other things when I'm in a better state. So that was my conversation with my head. Again, I was actually listening, like the tape that was looping on in my head was my talk the night before. And I'm going through that now, the 5 C's. So, okay, no, I didn't make good on my commitment. I actually flaked on a couple of clients, and one of them was new. The old conversation would have been, oh, Tess, you actually messed it up. Okay, so that's the voice of criticism. That's not one of the C's to embrace. That's one of the C's to replace. Okay, so voice of criticism, we are going to replace that with voice of compassion. So before, when I was in the depth of my depression, when I couldn't see the way out, it was the voice of criticism that was pervasive in my head, in my whole being. Oh, Tess, you messed up. How can you be so irresponsible? Didn't you know better? How can you do this to yourself? How can you do this to other people? How can you blah, blah, blah? Well, it was just one negative thing after another. And, if I was feeling sad at the end of that conversation with myself, that voice of criticism, I would be ready to check out. Like, okay, I'm no good, I shouldn't be here any longer. I have no business being here. I'm just taking up space. I'm not contributing to the. It's not good. Right? So, voice of criticism, fire it. Tell it to go take a hike. You are no longer needed here. I don't need your criticism. What I need right now is a voice of compassion. Okay? So the voice of compassion was the voice that was guiding me on Wednesday after I saw the extent of the damage. It wasn't as bad. If I'm to count my blessing, it's not as bad as the fire in Duluth. It wasn't. It was, it burnt the truck to a crisp, and it touched a little bit of the garage, and the tenant's truck was also damaged a little bit. But I could count my blessing. And so it was amazing that I could be in, still in that resourceful state to look for the silver lining. And from there, I can actually listen and hear the voice of compassion, because the voice of compassion is always there. The voice of compassion is always there. It's when we're so attached to the old, or without the awareness that the voice of criticism is what we're used to hearing, we can't tap into the voice of compassion that is always there. And that is our nature, really, is our compassionate self. Except we're the last one we're compassionate with. We're compassionate with everyone. We're kind to everybody, right? Oh, be kind to your neighbor. Be kind to your kids. Be kind to everyone. We're all about being nice to other people, but we're not actually nice. We're not actually kind to ourselves. So we're going to take a break in a little bit here. But think about the voice of compassion and how that might sound like to you. For me, it sounded like, okay, this was not in your control. They will understand what happened. No one is judging you. If this happened to them, they would, do exactly the same thing. So there's no degrading, there's no belittling, there's no you're not good enough, you F it up. So think of the ways you can replace the voice of criticism with voice of compassion. And with that, I think we're ready to go for a break, and I'll see you again after the break. Don't go away. We'll be back. All right. We are back. Woo! Thank you for that breather. I was able to get a glass of water and just and drink some water. Okay, so what does voice of criticism sound like? Let's say you're on a diet. You said, it's New Year, I'm going to lose some weight, blah, blah, blah. And then the very next week, you broke your word. You broke out a bag of chocolates. Or you promised yourself you're not ever going to be late again. And you committed to yourself you'll be early, on time. And yet, the first opportunity that your alarm clock blared at you, you hit the snooze button many times again. So how do you practice the voice of compassion versus the voice of criticism? Okay? That is my challenge to you. When you yelled at your wife or your husband, no matter how hard you resolve to be a good spouse or a good boyfriend, girlfriend, still got angry at the kids. Oh my God, this was one of my things that I beat myself up before. I was a single mom, working 2 jobs, and I get home and I just didn't have it in me to be angry at the kids any longer. So I would just not to say anything. But there were many times that I lost my cool and I still got angry with them no matter how hard I resolved it. It was so difficult. So how do you put away the stick and show yourself some compassion? That would be my invitation to you. So put down the stick, be self-compassionate, don't beat yourself up. It's easier said than done, but you know what? It's a practice. Just be aware that there's a voice of compassion in you. Really, would you scream at a child, at a baby? You wouldn't. So when you're in that situation, imagine yourself needing help. Imagine yourself very tender and fragile, and really practice self-compassion. It's baby steps. It's baby steps. It took me a few years to get here, to not beat myself up. And, who would have known that I would be talking on Tuesday night and then the very next day I would use my same talk to get myself, up on a higher vibration, on a higher state of mind, to calm myself down, and then to resourcefully connect with the clients that I bailed on, and just explain to them. I spoke the truth. I was honest with them. I was really honest with them. Hey, this is what happened, and they were very understanding, and everything worked out perfectly. And of course, I offered a few things to make it right. They got a few bonuses that wouldn't have been there, but it's okay. Anything to make it right. And that's compassion at work. And when compassion is at work, God is at work. God is at work. Divinity is in action. And divinity is always working through you, as you, and in you. All right, so we're ready for the third C. The third C, when you're compassionate with yourself, then it opens it up to curiosity. Oh, this is the fourth now. So the first C is choice. Second is commitment. Third is compassion. Fourth is curiosity. So once you're there, compassionate with yourself, you can then tap into curiosity. See, when we're in that negative state where we're listening to the criticism, the harshness of our own voice to ourselves, then we kind of live in the realm of guilt, worry, resentment, anger. And when we're in that state, we're not tapping into higher states of consciousness, higher states of resourcefulness. And this, don't take my word for it. You got to try this, right? And as awakening hearts, you already know this. And that's why you're here. You're awakening. Your heart is not letting you go invisible any longer. Your heart wants you to show up fully. Your heart wants you to step fully into your power. The power is right there in your heart. Except we don't activate the power of the heart when we're in the negative states of guilt, shame, blame, all that. And those exist because of the negative voice in our head. When our voice of compassion is the one that's taking the lead, our heart opens up even more, and we open up to curiosity and delight and playfulness. Right? So when we're curious, we inquire, well, what else is possible? What's possible? What could I do at this moment? How can I make it right? Or how can I make it better? Or, there's power in questions too. So in this moment, how can I be the voice of divinity? How can in this moment, how can I be the picture of whatever it is that means to you? For me, it was, how can I be a conduit of change at this moment? How can I be an awakener? It's always a tough job to be an awakener. People don't always respond in a nice way. They usually get triggered, and I'm usually right there. Either they like me and love me, or they hate me because I'm triggering change in them, right? And that's okay. That's okay. I've come to love that about me, that I'm an awakener, and you are too. That's why you're attracted to this show, to this radio show, because you're an awakener at heart. You're an awakening heart, and awakening the whole entire world to see things differently, to do things differently, coming from the heart. So curiosity. Be curious, right? What else is possible? What else can you do? There's always a choice. Either stay the same, be miserable, stay in suffering, or be curious. What else is possible? What else am I being called to do? What else? Right? I was talking to a gentleman yesterday, and no matter what I said, he was defending why things were not working out for him. And I was like, really, I don't know what to tell you anymore, because I would say this, and you're defending that doesn't work, that doesn't work. Oh, what about this? Oh, no, that doesn't work. I already tried that. So he was committed to not changing. He was committed to defending why things are falling apart. And I was telling him, it's like, when we're driving, right? And it's snowy and slippery, and there's a lamppost. All we could look at is that lamppost. Oh, I'm gonna crash! I'm gonna crash! I'm gonna crash! So that's usually the focus. But if you tap into the energy of curiosity, right? You pull into, where else can I go where I will not crash in this lamppost, right? You actually have to remove your face from that angle, looking at the lamppost. Actually move it a couple of millimeters to the left or to the right, just not where you're gonna hit and fail. So if you can do that and be curious and literally move yourself in another direction, you're gonna succeed at your commitment to change, whatever that looks like for you. So curiosity is number 4. I'd love to hear your comments, insights about this. If you're bubbling up with things, I can relate to that. That totally resonates. Please email me at tess@openheartmindcoaching.com. And if you have questions, if you want me to break it down even more, those are the type of things I'd like to know, so that the next episode we can talk about it further and more in depth. So let me know what your thoughts are so far. Okay, so yeah, quit fighting for your limitations. Quit defending your experience. Step into resourcefulness, step into curiosity, because that will actually pull you out of despair, pull you out of thinking, well, this is my fate. I guess this is the card I'm dealt with. I'm going to have to deal with it. No. Step into curiosity. What else is available for me? What am I not seeing? What opportunities are actually in front of me that I'm just not aware of? So curiosity will lead you to questions, to invitation, inviting the universe to actually assist you. And that will tie you into your creativity. That is who you are. You're a creator. You didn't just come here to pay the bills and die. That's always a favorite of mine. You didn't come here to pay the bills and die. No, you are here to create that which you came here to do. What you came here to do, I don't know. You have to be curious to find out what that is. It's not, sometimes, well, not sometimes. I know this for a lot of my clients that work with me. It's so hard for them, and for me too. I really struggled with this, to disentangle, to detach, to move out of expectations and responsibilities that was assigned to us, to me. I'll just say it from my perspective and let me know if it resonates with you. Right? It was so difficult for me to not do what I was expected to do, which was to be obedient. I am obedient in a very different level. I am obedient to my soul's calling. So there's a difference between obedience when I was a child, when I'm supposed to do whatever people told me to do, whether it's my teacher or the priest or my mom or my dad or I'm fifth of 6 children. So I had to listen to sibling number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, plus my parents, plus my aunts and uncles. We were an extended family. So obedience for me, had a very limited shelf life. And yeah, I think I saw myself more as a rebel, even though I didn't really rebel that much. I was no expiration date. I was obedient to a point where I got into trouble whenever I opened my mouth and spoke up. So it was really I would get pulled back and forth to opening up my mouth, to defending myself, to being obedient. Being obedient was really my default until something happened that I couldn't allow someone to make me wrong, especially if I knew in my heart I was not wrong. Right? But then for the sake of peace, what do we do for the sake of peace? We shut the hell up, right? We don't say anything. We swallow what it is instead of speaking our truth. So there are so many things, so many behaviors that happen that we kind of block our own creative power. And for me, I think in September, was it September, that all of a sudden I started doodling, drawing, sketching, painting. It was like I had a ton of things to do, but all I could do at that moment was to draw and paint and draw and paint. It was like, oh my God, I had to paint, I had to draw, I had to paint, I had to draw. And talking about, that voice of negativity, that voice of criticism, like I didn't care. Yeah, you can complain all you want there. Yeah, just go to the side where I cannot hear you. Yes, I have tons of things to do, but I'll get to them in time. This is what's coming to me at this moment. This is the energy, where energy is taking me right now, is to open up my creativity. And, and things just started expanding or happening. Things that I didn't imagine was possible before started opening up for me. because I surrendered to my creativity. There was a time 2017 was a really bizarre year, and I blogged about it, how even though I wasn't suicidal, I just wanted to check out, like, okay, I'm done here. I'm done. Like, this is really exhausting. Even though I have glimpses of bliss, I have glimpses of things going well in my life. It was like, well, if I'm the creator of my reality, can I just go? No. I learned that faith is about deciding, it's about making that choice. Again, we're back to choice number one. That really was, it's a choice to be here. And until I made that choice to be here and not just, have my mom and dad birth me, like, that was not my choice. It was not my choice to be here. I didn't ask to be born. No, I needed to come to that place of whatever, I'm already here. I'm choosing this. And the faith that I can have that choice no matter what. Without a reason. I don't need a reason. I don't even need to do anything for anybody for whatever reason. I don't need to please people any longer. I just need to be me, to choose to be here. And that opened up a whole lot of creativity and opportunities. And I hope you're getting what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is, it opened my heart to a whole different level of possibility, to a whole different dimension of taking care of me, of integrity. Integrity, not in, oh, you should be honest about that. Da, 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 da. No, it's integrity with your soul, what you came here to be. It's being in alignment with what your heart truly desires, and honoring that. That's for me, that's awakening heart. Our heart's awakening to be what we came here to be the unique expression of whatever it is that we came here to be. There's no good, bad, right, or wrong any longer. Those are just constructs of the mind to keep us safe, to keep us not moving forward into that unknown, into that big unknown. But that unknown is where you need your curiosity. That unknown is where you need your creativity, because what? You are the one creating into that unknown. Okay, I hope that I'm making sense at all. So that's the 5 C's. And we'll add the 6th, which is the celebration. At any moment that you master yourself, at any moment that you mastered your thought, your emotion, you're able to change your behavior, even if it's just for a day. Celebrate it. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Thank you, Sprinkles. Yeah, celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. And that celebration will bring you to that energy of gratitude. I have a beef about gratitude. I heard that all my life. You should be grateful. You should be grateful. You have a job. You should be grateful. You have wonderful kids. You should be grateful. But there's just that negativity attached to that. You should be grateful, right? That it's another obligation that you're supposed to do. It's another should, right? Come from a place of appreciation instead. Then gratitude itself is no longer heavy and an obligatory thing, or not a band-aid, to do in order to make manifest, to follow the law of manifestation or the law of attraction. You should be grateful. The first thing, do is be grateful. No, come from a place of compassion first. I think that's the first step. Be compassionate with yourself. And when you tune into the curiosity and creativity, wow, gratitude you don't have to do. You just are. Yes, be humble too. It is very humbling to see, oh my God, I can actually do this. Oh my God, and oh my God, it's not just me who can do this. You can do it too. And that's so humbling that you and I are actually wanting the same thing, to be acknowledged, for that unique creator that we are. And you know what? God cannot do his work without us, right? So there's a merge happening with God and us. We cannot do anything without God, and God cannot do anything without us. True or true? So there's a merge happening when you tap into compassion. Well, with all the 5 C's, when you tap into the power of choice, when you tap into the power of commitment, when you tap into the power of compassion, curiosity, creativity, what you are creating, you are opening your hearts, and what you are creating is a merge between your divine aspect and your human aspect. Yes? And yay, let's celebrate that, right? I don't know about you, but I'm celebrating that I actually showed up today. This is actually fun. And I'm actually having having fun here. Even though I was shorted an hour to prepare, I guess, my universe is saying, you've been preparing all your life. Stop preparing. You have enough to say, you have enough to do. Just do it. Just be authentically you. And that would be my message for you too. Yeah. So open your hearts. You are awakening. You are here. You are loving life. Yes. Time to celebrate you, and time to just be who you are. Thank you, Sprinkles. Do you have questions, Sprinkle? Yes. I'm just reading back. Yeah. Some are into deep sleep. Yeah, hopefully after this show, I would have woken up a lot of people who are in deep sleep. When applying the 5 C's, do we do it in order? If you just remember one of the 5 C's at any moment, I think it will totally change your life. Like if you remember compassion, if that's all you remember in any moment, oh my God, that will change the trajectory of your life. But if you're in a fork, you're in an indecision, a lot of my clients come to me because they're stuck, because they have forgotten they have a power of choice. If you can remember that you, at any moment of time, you have a choice. You have a choice to just stay here and just mess it up and whatever. That's a choice, and that's okay. Whatever your choice is, it's my choice to sleep in. That was my choice on Wednesday. I was tired. I immediately went into self-care mode. That was my choice. My choice was to mess up my calendar and just go to bed and take care of me. That was my choice, and I was 100% backed up to it. So if you remember any of these 5 C's, it doesn't matter the order, connect with your creativity, curiosity, compassion, commitment, choice. There, I did it in reverse. It still made sense. Yes? And we've got a minute left. Humility. You said be humble too. Just one word about humble, not false humility where you are denying your divinity. You are denying, there's no place any longer to play small. That's not humble. That is actually no, that's not humble at all. False humility is not humble at all. Let other knows who are listening where they can contact you. Yes, please email me at tess@openheartmindcoaching.com, and I'm going to type it in again. And it's been an honor and pleasure to be with you here today. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you to Off the Cuff Radio for having me. God bless. I love you.
Off the Cuff Design, an online magazine that is given out freely. The wide range of promotional is unlimited. We take pride in bringing it all together for you. And we recognize that it is hard to reach a lot of people by just having a website, or even those writers that do not have the means to advertise or have a website. This website will provide its free services of advertising and giving others a platform to share their experiences, skills, and ability. For we believe that it is through others we learn not only of others but of ourselves as well. So, if you need a chat room to hold sessions, we can provide that with audio and video for classes, workshops, or just single sessions. Contact us to see what we can provide with our special features and promotional experience. And it is all free. Yes, free. Join us and meet other like-minded people, because that is what makes OTC the place to be. OffTheCuffDesign.com